What if I told you that the number one reason you're not happy with your life is because you're chasing happiness? That's right. Everyone tells you that you need to do things that make you happy. You need to do things that put a smile on your face. Yet when you do these things that make you happy, you may feel good for a while, but it always goes away, and you're back again, chasing that next hit of happiness. In this video, you're gonna learn why chasing happiness is actually ruining your life. And you're also gonna learn what you should seek instead that will save your life and make happiness chase you. If you're like most people, you've been conditioned to believe that happiness comes from outside of you. If I could just have all the money in the world, beautiful woman, fast cars, if I could just live my dream life, everything would be perfect and I can finally be happy. Because what most people forget is we all just want to be happy deep down inside. It's human nature. Everything we do, at its core level, no matter how small, is an attempt to run away from pain and run towards happiness, or at least our idea of happiness. But what if your idea of happiness that you've been running towards your whole life was a lie, and that having all the money in the world, beautiful woman, fast cars, even getting your dream life is not what would actually make you happy? And it's actually something a lot simpler. You see, the idea of happiness that you've been taught to believe by society is only half true, because underneath this idea holds a more sinister idea. This idea says that in this world, by default, you cannot be truly happy unless you get something outside of yourself that you've most likely been taught to believe will make you happy. This idea causes you to chase that thing and build your whole worldview around attaining it. On a deeper level, without even realizing it, this teaches you that you have no inherent value. You're born worthless, and you need to gather more and more things outside of yourself in this world to gain value. This idea creates a mindset that is always causing you to look for things outside of yourself, for the next best thing that you've been influenced to believe will make you happy and raise your worth. And this can be anything. For me, it could be getting 1 million subscribers. For you, it could be getting the girl of your dreams. The point is, you are most likely walking around with an idea in your mind of, I can't be truly happy until I get this. But once I get this, I will finally be able to be truly happy and worthy in this world. But the honest truth that nobody will tell you is that nothing outside of you will ever make you truly happy. Think about it. Has there ever been a goal in your life that you've achieved that has actually made you truly happy? Sure, you might have been happy for a period of time, but the feelings eventually faded away, didn't they? And without you even realizing it, you soon formed a new goal based on the idea of, I know I already got this, but I can't be truly happy until I get this. So the never-ending cycle on the rabbit wheel of happiness continues. But it doesn't have to be like this. You can step off the rabbit wheel of happiness, and you do this by changing your idea of what happiness is. You're probably asking yourself what happiness truly is then, and how do I step off the rabbit wheel of happiness? Well, if you didn't realize it, all the examples I named before and all the things you're chasing are outside of you. Things that are external. This is where we go wrong. You see, it's completely fine to have external goals and things outside of you that you want to achieve. But when you start to think that those external things are the very things that will finally bring you the happiness you're chasing deep down inside yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. Just imagine, you finally achieved the goal you've worked so hard for. You're on an amazing high and full of joy for a while. Everyone is congratulating you and telling you how great you are. But the more time passes, the more you get used to it, until it all just feels normal to you, and you're left with the urge, what now? The moment this happened is the moment you realize that the thing you've worked so hard for, that you thought would change everything, hasn't really changed anything. Because the way you feel deep down inside ultimately is the same as it was before you reached your goal. This is rarely ever talked about, but this is the reason so many people who actually reach their goals go through a period of feeling lost, depressed, which causes some to drown their emotions in things that actually sabotage them until they find something else external to chase. All of this could have been avoided if you had understood that chasing external happiness never leads to true happiness. True lasting happiness comes from internal happiness, which can only come from within yourself. The world won't teach you about this form of happiness though, because when you're internally happy, you no longer need to play the game that fuels the system. This is the game of making a name for yourself, the game of chasing your dreams, the game of becoming high status, even the game of breaking out of the matrix, unless you want to. You see, when you're internally happy, you're free to actually make the choices you want to make and pursue it from a place of already having the happiness that most people go their whole lives chasing, but never achieving. So let me paint another picture for you. Imagine, instead of obsessing about the end result and stressing so much about your goals, you simply took steps every day to achieve something you wanted and enjoyed the journey. You expect a positive outcome, but you're not concerned about a positive outcome because you're already happy within yourself by default. So no matter what happens, you know you'll be good regardless because you're not stressed or obsessing about anything. Things happen a lot easier and effortlessly. You may even be doing the same amount of work that you would have been doing if you were chasing happiness, but you don't realize it because you're enjoying what you're doing. And so when you finally reach your goal, you feel a similar high of achieving it and you're full of joy. And as the days pass, you get used to it. Like the previous example, you're left with the urge, what now? But this time, instead of realizing that everything you worked so hard for didn't really change anything internally, you look back on how awesome and enjoyable your journey was. And from a place of internal happiness, you simply continue on with your life. This is how it's supposed to be. You shouldn't be seeking happiness from external things because it's never permanent. The only permanent form of happiness comes from your own internal happiness. Now, I know you're probably wondering how you can build a permanent sense of internal happiness. But before we get to that, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can get recommended more valuable content from this channel that's designed to help you live a better life and help you reach your highest potential. Learning to seek internal happiness is a skill that, when broken down, is really all about learning to appreciate what you have in your life now and building a sense of gratitude around it at all times. This sense of gratitude will charge yourself with positivity, and this positivity is what's going to help you attract positive events in your life. The person who practices internal happiness rarely complains or blames others, rarely looks at things negatively, and rarely gets upset over things because they constantly view things in a way that benefits them and makes them feel as good as possible at all times. So the first thing you have to do if you want to practice internal happiness is you have to be willing to let go of resistance of your life. Resistance is simply the action of trying to resist something that's happening to you. If something is happening to you outside of you that you don't like, you have two options. The first option is to change the way that you view the situation into a view that you enjoy. The second option is to complain about the situation and want the situation to change. The first option will cause you to feel an inner sense of acceptance and peace, which brings internal happiness. The second option will cause you to feel an inner sense of frustration and stress, which brings more suffering. Suffering that you've been taught can only be fixed by getting what you want. This is a lie. The only thing that can stop your suffering is letting go of resistance and accepting your life in every moment. A simple example involves you having to work 9 to 5 at your job. It's the middle of the day and you feel like you've been working forever at this point. You yawn and you look at the clock hoping your shift is almost done, only to see that it's only 2 and you have 3 hours left. The person who's internally happy still feels the same emotions, but instead of thinking, great, I have 3 hours left, I hate this job, and resisting the situation, they may think, great, I have 3 hours left to get work done and hang out with my coworkers. I'm glad that I have a job like this and the benefits it brings me. I'm excited for the money I'm making and the skills that I'm learning that are going to benefit me in the future. There's a lot of great things about this job and I'm so excited for the opportunity to work here. And you can literally go on forever when you get good at this. I want you to realize how one thought process makes you feel worse, while the other thought process makes you feel better. This is the difference. It's all in your thoughts and your ability to continually choose thoughts that builds gratitude, which creates internal happiness. This simple skill can take some time to learn, but if you can take anything away from this video, just know that if you can learn to think more thoughts that make you feel good and think less thoughts that make you feel bad, you're going to immediately start to see how much more enjoyable your life gets, and that you'll actually be a lot happier without even doing anything. Because the truth is, you are powerful, amazing, and more than enough. You don't need anything external to determine your value. You don't need to chase anything outside of yourself to feel happy. When you can feel happy now, just by thinking happy thoughts, you have to realize that you are responsible for how you feel in every moment, no one else. And if you are feeling bad about yourself, it's because you're thinking bad thoughts about yourself. And no amount of external achievement will ever change how you see yourself. They'll only brush it under the rug temporarily. Now, of course, it is great to achieve external things, but the achievement of these things shouldn't come from a place of chasing happiness. They should come from a place of genuine expression. When you seek internal happiness, you will always, by extension, receive the external equivalent, because happiness is determined by the way you choose to view it, and nothing else. Now, there's so much more to say about this topic, and I didn't want this video to be too long, but if you guys want to see more, comment down below telling me what you think and subscribe for future videos. You're also going to want to watch this video because learning how to be internally happy involves a degree of selfishness and learning to be in tune with what you actually want. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Love you guys. Peace.